Grit is a greater predictor of success than intelligence. Grit is more important than IQ. Psychologist Angela Duckworth can predict which soldiers will drop out of West Point Military Academy, which kids will advance furthest in the National Spelling Bee, and which first-time teachers will survive more than a year in schools in tough neighbourhoods. She can also tell which salespeople will earn the most in a year. Those that succeed all share one trait, and it isn't anything to do with how smart they are. It turns out grit is a greater predictor of success than intelligence. Grit is more important than IQ. In fact, it might be more important than anything. And it's not linked to talent. Angelina even suggests that it might be inversely related to talent. We can all think of talented people who squandered their gift. What they needed was grit, that intangible ability to stick with a long-term goal. Duckworth describes grit as working really hard to make that future a reality, living life like it's a marathon, not the sprint. The good news is that we can all develop grit. And one of the best ways to develop grit is to have a growth mindset. A growth mindset is the belief that you can learn and acquire and develop new skills. It's opposed to a fixed mindset where you believe that your skills are innate and they have a ceiling, and there's only so much you can do to improve them, and that improvement will be insignificant, if at all. It seems almost obvious that if you have a fixed mindset, then you'll have no grit. What's the point in persevering if through all that effort you're not going to make any improvements anyway? There are numerous ways to improve your growth mindset, but two that struck me as particularly simple were, firstly, just learning about neuroplasticity. If you learn about how the brain grows and develops, then in the face of that evidence, it's almost difficult to maintain a fixed mindset. You've seen how it grows, seeing is believing. The second is even simpler. Add this one word to the end of your sentences: yet. Another psychologist, Carol Dweck, calls it the power of yet. Instead of saying, I can't do this, say, I can't do this yet. Suddenly, the possibility of improvements opens up before your mind's eye. It's just a matter of time. These two things will foster your growth mindset and in turn foster grit. And then, just through simple changes, you'll bless yourself with a trait that's far more important than intelligence, because grit trumps IQ. If you want to become hardier, happier, and more fulfilled by learning about resilience, then subscribe by the button above.